Good Monday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the Monday Market Monitor. Thank you for joining us. We are a little behind, about 12 minutes behind, but we will make up that time today, and we will give you a show of tremendous proportions on a gorgeous Monday. We're live in Charlottesville, across the Commonwealth, the country, and the world, thanks to Closure Title. Closure Title opened in 2007. They offer an experience in lending, title insurance, settlement services, and realtor services. Locally owned and operated, 2 offices in Charlottesville and in Stanton. Closure Title for all your closing needs. Judah Wickower, studio camera, please. Let's welcome the distinguished gentleman and 2 fantastically talented agents, Maggie Gunnels. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
And Christy Lynn. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Distinguished gentlemen, a great roundtable for a Monday.
A great roundtable for the Monday. I've been crunching numbers all weekend long, and I've been excited about this. We got fully caffeinated up on Sunday and just kept on going because this is just going to be a lot of fun. These are 2 rock star real estate agents. We're going to talk a little bit about the market in general, what has kind of happened in the last 7 days, and then we're going to take pretty much a deep dive into Lake Monticello. Some of the numbers I was doing this weekend just blew my mind.
Crazy.
But before we do that, Maggie, we're going to start with you.
Okay, great.
Give us the flip book. Tell us about Maggie Gunnels.
Yeah.
Tell us about all the awesomeness and your awesome family and your mom and your dad and all this fun stuff.
Yes, so I am a realtor and a broker with Long & Foster. I have a team called Gunnels Group. We originally started as a family team. My mom and dad are both veteran realtors at Lake Monticello. And they are, Keith knows, they are top producing agents. They are probably some of the best agents that I've ever worked the lake and in Charlottesville in general. So I got to train underneath them for many years. And then Christy Lynn, she joined our team Gunnels Group last year, as well as Patty Arndt. And my husband as well. He works with us as well. So we have a top producing team at the lake. It's our area of specialty, and it's where we work and we live and we love it.
Because you were born there, right? Well,
Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia.
Originally from Northern Virginia. Born and raised in Northern Virginia, and then in the middle of high school we moved down here.
Oh.
And
so that was only a couple of years ago then, right?
Oh. You're going to be here all day.
Yeah, I love you, Keith. I love you. No, we moved down here in the middle of high school, and, growing up in Northern Virginia, culturally it was so different, and having gone to Catholic school my whole life, it was so different, and then moving to Fluvanna was, just culturally really different.
Very different.
Very different.
You're a Catholic school.
I went to Catholic school. I'm Southern Baptist, grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. Kings Mill and Williamsburg. Now called Charlottesville home. Been here 21 years. But I want to hear about you guys.
Wait a second. You're from Williamsburg?
I'm from Williamsburg.
That's where I moved here from.
I always would have thought New York.
I get that all the time.
Yes.
I literally get that all the time.
We spend so much time together, my accent is
I think
rubbing.
it's because I talk fast and I use my hands. But Southern Baptist raised, Catholic school raised, Jewish neighborhood, a religious mutt, if you may.
I have Jewish in my blood too.
Yeah, there you go.
A lot of Jewish, actually.
You truly have seen, and I'm curious both your takes on this, the evolution of Fluvanna and certainly Lake Monticello. Can you put that in perspective for us?
Yeah, absolutely. It has changed so much. It was always such a great place, even when we moved back there, even though it was so different from Northern Virginia. It's always been a very laid back, easy, accessible place to live and raise a family and retire. But it has just grown exponentially. It's not a small little community anymore. It's a large, small town. There's 15,000 people that just live in one very small geographic place. So for us, actually, for real estate, it's great for us because it makes it easy to work that market for a lot of reasons. You don't have to shuffle around. But in terms of growth, it's changed so much. We get a lot of people from Northern Virginia, from New York, Connecticut. That's actually the second place I would have thought you were from, Connecticut.
All the time.
Connecticut too, yes. Totally would have thought that. So at any rate, the lake has changed so much, even since you've been there.
Yeah.
So Christy, tell us your flip book.
Yeah, so I moved to Lake Monticello only 3 years ago. from Williamsburg, originally from Florida.
Okay.
So I'm a Florida Gator,
Okay.
born and raised. And then I moved to Williamsburg 11 years ago, moved here 3 years ago, just celebrated 3 years at the lake, and I've only been an agent since December.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's taken off. I love the community we live in at Lake Monticello. I am extremely biased of it because it was a place that we came from Williamsburg, right? Very established type place to a place where we didn't know anybody, and it was instant family, instant community, and so it was really neat. But yeah, so I moved here with my husband so he could go work for UVA. He's in management at UVA, and we have 3 beautiful kids: Aubrey, who's 6, Kinsley, who's 4, and Brian, who will be 3 next week. And we just love it. I love people, and I absolutely have fallen in love with real estate.
So I'm reading your bio here.
Yeah.
You used to own an online active business. Tell us about
Yeah,
that.
I still own an online
I'm
activewear
sorry.
business. No, that's okay. That's how it kind of got started and how Maggie and I kind of really connected. And she goes, "You need to do real estate. You know you would
She's
do
a
well."
bit persuasive, I might.
Yes. And so since I moved here in Charlottesville, I was supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. Was no part of that, and started my own online activewear business called Zaya Active, and it is a direct sales company. It quickly took off for me. It's like a premier activewear brand for men, women, and children. They also have business attire. Just throwing that out there, so it works well with real estate. But I have a team of over 450 gals and men all over the country and Canada, and so we just live a community of activity, uplifting, and light. So it's fun.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So usually we kick the show off on the Monday morning market. I ended morning in there. Monday market monitor is what has happened in the last 7 days. So pretty much what has happened since 8/9 to 8/16. And we've been talking about this for years, seems like, but for quite some time, about inventory starting to tip up a little bit.
Right.
And so this is just a big geographic area. This is all Charlottesville, Albemarle, Fluvanna, Nelson, Greene, and Louisa. But we had 85 new homes come on, and 94 went into pending. So we're starting to see, I think, a little bit more uptick on that. But more particular in Lake Monticello, I ran it this morning. We got 29 homes on the market. Talk about that, Maggie. That hasn't been like that a couple of months ago, right?
Yeah, no, it hasn't. But if you think about it, it's still a really, really low amount of houses for inventory. We need 80 to 90 houses, maybe 100 houses at any given time just to feed a healthy market, a neutral market. And so 29 homes, that's nothing. So we're still in a strong seller's market at the lake.
So 1% would be 45 homes. Right? So it's
Yeah.
because there's 4,500 homes, 1%
Right.
is 45. So we're not even
You're like 0.6.
0.6, 0.7, something like that.
So we still need more inventory, but it's good to see the houses because you're seeing less cliff diving from buyers, which we don't want to see. That's obviously not a healthy.
Just explain cliff diving because there's a bunch.
Christy knows about cliff diving.
So
She's done a lot this year.
There's a lot of folks that watch and listen to the show that are not in the real estate space.
Right.
So some of the terms that we may use, you might want to explain. So would you explain cliff diving? Somebody, please.
Yeah, people just giving it all up. You know,
Got
they don't have any contingencies. They don't.
Got it.
The seller is completely in control of the negotiations,
Got it.
and you just have to take it. And it's hard for buyers to just take it in this market when you're paying a premium dollar compared to what you would have paid 6 months ago, or 3 months ago. Well, prior to January. So I'm talking 2020, and so no home inspection contingency, no finance, no appraisal contingency. I mean, we've that's what she's experienced seen a lot this year. Is we've had a lot of issues with appraisals.
Yes.
So people having to, and the lake too. The thing to keep in mind with the lake, this is a very, we're not dealing with people that have. Yes, people have the deepest of pocketbooks. So 20 grand, we have a market where people are. This is an affordable market, and so when you have to make up a difference between $20,000, $30,000, that is going to hurt. So our buyers have suffered from that. But
to put this a little bit in perspective, I ran some numbers for the last 15 years. 2011, from January 1 to the 15th of August, 2011, it was 21 closings. 21 homes were sold and closed. This year, 223.
Wait, 21 homes for the whole.
No, it's for from January 1
Right.
to August 15th, year to date.
Amazing.
So there was 21 homes
Amazing.
in 2011 versus so there's 200
Wow.
more homes. That goes to your point about the affordability context that this is where it's at. The median list price right now of the 29 is 279.
Right, right. And do you remember those days when the 270s was like,
It wasn't going to move.
no, that was an impossible price point.
In 11,
And
it was 200,000 was the median sales price.
the median, and so those little entry level ranchers were less than $100,000 at that time.
Sure.
And so it's amazing to see those little ranchers now selling for 230.
Plus.
They're higher, we're plus higher than where we were at in 2007, 2008. So it is a little bit. It's not a good. I mean, I don't think this is a good thing that we've seen such a huge increase in pricing in such a short period of time. However, at the same time, it's nice to see some sellers do well at the lake when they've done so poorly for so long. So it's nice to give people encouraging numbers and say, yeah, I actually can get you this top dollar.
So it's interesting. I ran numbers on that, very much so. So if you were to sell your house at Lake Monticello today, and let's just assume you bought it in 2000 at 200,000 at 4.69%, which was the mortgage rate at the time, your principal and interest and your PMI was about $1,200.
Right.
Right. So if you were to sell that, you'd net about $100,000 today. You can actually buy a $400,000 house now and still pay a $1,200 because of the difference between the 4.65
Interest rate.
and
Right.
the 2.7. So what's people doing is they're laterally moving.
Right.
That's what we're seeing here.
We see so much lateral movement, and it's just amazing to see what's happened in the change of pricing just from the last year. I went to go see somebody last summer, and I was like, look, well, you'll be lucky if I can get you 280. And when we came on market a month ago or 2 months ago, we got 372. So it was almost $100,000 difference in like a 9-month period on this one property. So we're seeing just these huge upticks in pricing right now.
So I'm going to turn to I was in Lake Monticello in
Yeah.
87. What year did you move in?
Originally my parents bought back. My grandparents were
When did
one of
you
the-
actually come
first.
here?
2000. When did we go? 2001.
Okay.
So to the newbie,
Yeah.
right?
This is normal for me.
Yeah.
Well, but that's not the question I'm going to ask, right?
She starts her career in a red hot market.
Yes, I
Perfect.
did.
Perfect timing.
30 houses later, we're still
But
going strong.
I know it's hard, but let's take your new real estate hat off, right? What made you choose Lake Monticello? Right, 3 years ago, you bought at Lake Monticello.
Yeah.
What was the attractive? Because we haven't talked about what Lake Monticello has to offer at this point,
Right.
Christy. So what made you buy other than price point?
Yeah. So we didn't know where we wanted to live. My husband was working for UVA. We were moving into a territory that we actually had only visited Charlottesville one time before we moved here. It happened very fast. And what attracted us to the community was just the young family and everything that it had to offer. And we fell in love very quickly. We actually rented when we first moved there. We actually just bought our first house in this crazy market. Yeah, so
Congratulations.
thank you. So we wanted just to check out all the areas. And we ended up falling in love with Lake Monticello and not ended up moving into Charlottesville and some of the surrounding areas, Zion's, where my husband works. And so this was close to...
So he works in Zion's Crossroads?
Yeah, he does
Good for
commute
him.
into Charlottesville also through all their outpatient facilities. But he
So
works...
what about the amenities? Because
Yeah.
that's an important part of
Huge.
Lake Monticello.
Yeah.
Was that a driving?
Most
Talk
of
about the gated community effect.
That's exactly what I
Yeah.
was trying to get to. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah.
So what's the gated? So did a gated community make a difference to you?
Most definitely. Having young family, their security, having other just knowing the the culture inside the community, just from the research we did. We knew that we liked how safe it was, and that we could be inside a community. We're right next to the clubhouse, the pool, the beaches. So it was everything just bundled into one, and we get to walk everywhere we go. We feel safe. The kids can play outside, and it's just that extra security being in a gated community there.
Always thought Lake Monticello should hire Jerry Miller because it does such an awful job of promoting
amenities.
Right, Maggie?
amazing.
So we've been here long enough to know that they just spent millions and millions of dollars upgrading their facility there. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the amenities, that's a big part of our quality of life, which especially with COVID has made such a big difference for us this year. The lake is, we just this weekend on Saturday, we did swim team stuff and left swim team, walked over to your house and hung out till, late Saturday night and the kids played. And so the pool where we
Brand
were
new.
in the clubhouse, it was really nice to be in that clubhouse, and it was a nice facility to be in when before we didn't have that as much, and the amenities made it a harder sell.
They rebuilt
Yes.
the pool.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
they
just had our
needed it.
second season in the pool. It's phenomenal.
The pool's great.
Our youngest daughter is a former Division I athlete, a swimmer,
Amazing.
a sprinter, and I remember years doing that. But they rebuilt the pool. They rebuilt the main clubhouse.
Improved the golf course.
Big
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Improved the golf course.
The pub.
Way ahead of the
Pubs.
Right.
The
Yeah.
pub's new too. Yeah.
Well, we
I
talked
wouldn't know
about,
anything about the pub.
The pub.
food's
Is
great.
that sarcasm?
That was sarcasm.
Sometimes that goes right on over.
He enjoys a cocktail from time to time. James Clark is giving
Gotcha.
you props. He says, way to go, Christy Lynn.
thanks.
Nicholas Erpy is watching. He wants to make sure you've had enough coffee
I'm
in your
good.
day.
I'm good, Nick.
He was wondering if you were chasing a coffee for why we started late.
That's literally was the full thing. I was chasing
Sean
coffee.
Fountain giving you some props here. So it seems like COVID has undoubtedly put, tailwinds and momentum behind neighborhoods with amenities and things to do. I
Right.
live in one in eastern Albemarle County in the Keswick area. Golf course, tennis, pickleball, swimming, swim team, platform tennis, hiking trails. If you look at all the HOA neighborhoods, in particular the HOA neighborhoods with gates, Spring Creek's done well, Glenmore is off the chain, Lake Monticello is absolutely on fire.
Yeah.
When you have to be outside and you're worried about quarantining and you want some sanity from your kids,
Right.
a safe neighborhood with stuff to do for them outside is going to drive some value.
Absolutely. That's all we did last summer, and this summer was beach and
Hiking.
and pool, and I truly can't imagine what, especially last summer, would have been like without it. We had a nice summer because of
Wonderful.
it. The boat. They have
Yeah.
Christy Lynn and Scott have a boat, so
We felt the same. My family and I, we felt the same. We had stuff to do, friends to hang out with.
Right.
The neighborhoods almost created their own pods,
Yeah.
which kind of created more confidence.
Right.
Do we see that? Why don't I throw this to you guys? Do we see the trend continuing throughout 2022 into 2023? Any concern about it getting lukewarm at all?
In terms of trends, yeah, I definitely think that trend's going to continue. I think health and lifestyle is a trend that's not going away. People are valuing that more than ever. So absolutely, I think that's going to be a continued trend. In terms of the market changing, absolutely, the market changes. That's a given. It's going to always change. It's fluid. So we're going to see some type of lukewarmness to the market. I think prices have reset. So I don't think we're going to see some major dip, but certainly I don't think, again, the cliff diving.
I think you're going to see the traditional 3 to 5% year over year type of increase.
Right.
None of this double-digit increase, and we're already seeing that happening in the micro numbers from the last few weeks. But I just want to make sure I heard this correctly. You're not seeing a dip coming in the market at all. Is that your crystal ball?
Or a correction?
Or a correction?
I don't. Well, for the lake, I think that I will say the new listings that I've been bringing on, we aren't getting quite the same gusto that we were, but we still. We're still. I think for at least the short near-term future, yeah, I think we're still in this strong seller's market. I don't know how we couldn't be. We didn't build for a decade. We needed
rooftop.
So
Right.
that's interesting. You should
So-
bring that up, Maggie, because
That's a good call.
Very good. Of the 29, 5 of them are new construction. When was the last time you seen 5 new constructions at Lake Monticello?
And you have to also couple that with the fact of what we are here in Charlottesville. This is a community that despises suburban sprawl. So we're not going to have, we have limited land to work with in the city and in Albemarle County and Fluvanna to a point because, there is definitely that sentiment outside of the lake. They don't like the growth. There is that sentiment of, they don't want a Northern Virginia, even though, type Fluvanna. So, I mean, we have limited land to work with, period. You didn't build for a decade. I mean, I don't know how you could possibly have some huge major correction in the market except, a light correction. And maybe more than just a light, but again, I don't think prices are going to take some major dive.
So we had a big jump in the same time frame.
Right.
We're going year to date, January. Last year, the median sales price was $237. It's jumped up to $315 now.
Right, that's weird.
But the last time we were in the 230s, or even 245 was in 06. So that's when the market was humming the last time like this.
Right.
Would you want to take a gander how many days on market it was in 2006? You got the numbers in front of you if you want.
For 2006.
It was 60 days.
And now?
Whoa. No way.
Now it's 5 days.
5 days.
Yeah.
No way. 60 days?
But this goes back to a comment that you made earlier, and you're a pro. You come from a family of pros on this. I ask this question to real estate agents all the time. I like to use days on market as a guide. That's how I like to use it. Everybody has their own different things, amount of inventory and so forth and so on. But as a quick look-see, I like days on market. To me, 60 days is around where it officially switches from a seller's market to a buyer's market. We're at 5. Do you agree with that 60, or is that a little high?
I think that's a little light.
So you think it's higher than 60?
Yes.
Really?
I do.
I mean,
I
if the
think
closing takes 45 to 60 alone.
No, these are days on market. Times that it takes
creating
it hits
like
the
a
market.
neutral
Oh, got it,
market.
gotcha. I'm with
So
you.
at what
Gotcha.
point creates a neutral market? At what point does it become a seller's or a buyer's market?
That's the question. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So my opinion, and this is something that I learned, I feel like a long time ago, is 6 months is where a neutral market's at. If you look at a historical market over like a 50-year, 60-year period, perhaps that neutral market is changing in this particular market to that 60-day, maybe 90-day time frame for a neutral market. But I guess if you also take into consideration 20 days on market right now, we're in a strong seller's market. I mean, we are.
So that's an interesting, just to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
Because 2011, which we would say is like in the middle of the real, what did Neil call it? The
lowest.
unpleasantness.
Yeah, the great unpleasantness.
The great unpleasantness was 98 days.
Right.
Right.
Interesting. That is interesting.
So I
well, what was it in 2007, 2008, and 2009?
7 was 78 days, 802.
Interesting.
So there you go, 102.
Leroy Hauser, I remember learning that statistic from him. It's a 6-month statistic.
Well, I think it's changed.
You could be
though.
right about that then. Mm-hmm. I wonder where that had come from. But I do think we are I don't think the prices, we're going to see some major dive on prices because of the cost of construction.
Right.
Yes.
There's just too many buyers out there.
Right.
Christy Lynn, what do you think about that?
Yeah, and I'm just looking at that 5 days, and it's a little exaggerated in a way because we do these things now where we allow all agents to get into a house. So really, they have offers on the table on day one, but they're waiting 4 or 5 days
Oh,
to
you're
close.
talking about
Good point.
coming soon.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I've took out coming soon.
Well, no, just when we go live.
Got it.
At the lake, we've been going live, say on a Thursday. We don't make decisions till Monday or Tuesday because we're allowing agents to come in.
So explain that. That's an interesting piece of
Yeah.
information because
Yeah.
some folks may not understand that who's listening. So
Sure.
explain exactly what you're talking about.
So what we'll do is because there's so many buyers out there, when we go live on a property, we just don't take the first offer that comes in or the second offer that comes in. We allow all agents because it's a flood. I mean, we even have our clients leave for the weekend to give them time to get enough people in there. And so we leave that house on the market. When you see those 3 or 4 days, people are like, wow, it's been on the market for 5 days. Yeah, because we went live Thursday and we're giving people Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And then 5 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah, and then Monday we're collecting all the data, putting it together, finding a time to meet with the sellers, and then probably not ratifying until the next morning after negotiating.
How long you been doing this?
I
I think you're not telling the truth.
just since December, but that's
It's just must be like selling activewear.
it's all about loving people, isn't
There
it?
you go. There you go. Well, it's true. We talk about this all the time on the show. Which that's the reason everybody's here. We're not transactional, we're relational. It's all about building relationships and moving forward. So what you're saying is it'll go active on a Thursday. We're not looking at contracts until Monday, 5
Tuesday.
p.m., making
Yeah.
a decision at that point. And that time frame has already eaten up X number of days.
You're right.
That's interesting. I never looked at it that
Yeah.
way, but you're
Yeah.
right.
Really good point.
So those 5 days may be less than that if you
Oh,
calculate
most
that.
definitely.
Definitely.
Jamie Turner has this question. He is watching in Gordonsville, Woodbury Forest alum. how's the Wi-Fi, the internet at the lake?
It's great.
I might have to consider moving there after hearing all this. Nick has this question, so 2 questions to consider here. Why do you guys like days on market as a guide? What's the brief rationale behind it?
Days on market, yeah.
No, go ahead, Maggie, go ahead.
It's a great guide because it tells you the competitiveness of the market. How many people are out in the market. I mean, wouldn't you say so, Keith? I mean,
Yeah. So the way I just like to look at it, it's an instant snapshot, right? And then you start doing all this stuff and digging a little bit into it. But if you want to look at something real quickly, so as Christy said, it's from the time that it went active to the time it went pending, which means under contract. That's the time period between that. So, if we're looking at that as a matrix of how markets were doing, again, if we all agree, 2007 or 2008 was kind of the Great Depression, real estate depression, when we start getting up to, 60, 90 days, right, that was 102 in 2008, we're watching the market. But there's many different factors into it. Some folks prefer other realtors like to use inventory, right? There's how many months of inventory there are, and so forth and so on. But to me, it's just a quick snapshot. And you want to tackle the internet question in detail, because this is huge
ISP.
for Lake Monticello.
The internet's great. We have cable through Comcast, and internet's great. The rest of the county right now is actually going to be getting.
So are we
Firefly.
actually.
Is the lake going to get it?
We
as
are
well?
going to get
Yes,
it.
we are.
I wondered.
They
that.
are running Firefly through the lake right now as we speak. Actually, where I live, I'm going to get connected 6 months from now.
Is it going to only be for the folks that have the co-op, or will it also be for Dominion?
Oh, great question.
Right.
That is an awesome question.
Right.
So the initial answer, this is one of the too many hats that I wear, is the co-op. But Dominion is now on board, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get to the Dominion side, but it's the co-op side. So that's an important thing, Maggie, whichever two you prefer to tackle. There's 2 power companies at Lake Monticello. You want to talk about what that means?
So there's 2 power companies. Central Virginia Electric Co-op has one side, Dominion has the other. I mean, just once in a while, you'll hear people say, I don't want Dominion, they really want the co-op. But I mean, it's, we do, I guess anecdotally, my parents never lose service. They have co-op, and I lose service all the time, and we have Dominion. So
I am on the co-op. I never lose service.
You never lose it.
But I'm on Dominion, and we never lose.
You don't?
Because we're close to
But
the
I got
gate.
a backup generator. Shh, don't tell them.
Yeah.
Well, there are certain spots of the lake that lose it a lot, and they have to have generators because the little storm will
Got
come
my
in.
propane backup generator connected to my
Smart.
propane tank.
I don't know if it's because we're close to the gate or not.
Maybe.
And maybe that's one of the first places they go, just for the gate purposes and security and things like that. But
Right.
yeah, we're on Dominion. We don't really have that problem. But yeah, we have multiple options, and we also have CenturyLink also out at the lake. Plus, I know a lot of people are already starting to get the Firefly, and so Xfinity is super fast too. I work both my businesses practically from online for most of the part.
So I have a Comcast business at my house, and we do. I'm not smart enough to know what this actually means, but I have 200 up and 200 down. People tell me that's good.
Yeah,
It's not bad for your home.
Except when I call Jerry Miller in live and they lose it.
Ting has powered this building at 1,000 up and 1,000 down.
And the problem with
That's fiber.
that's
Yeah.
why.
200 up and 200 down is still not bad.
So the problem with Comcast is, and Jerry will correct me if I'm wrong. It's like a 2-inch pipe, right? And
That's the same with Ting.
And really, so if you
Yeah.
got more people on it, it slows down. I did not know that.
But what I did here was, and it cost a little bit, is we outfitted the building. So outfitting the building with fiber, to me, is a different level of.
So it's from point to point.
It's literally in the back of the building.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Kyle Miller is watching.
Kyle's a rock
Hey,
star.
Kyle.
First he loves the strategy that you outlined with the coming soon. Kyle Miller says, thoughts on the upcoming market. How long do we see the interest rates at these levels?
Oh.
I was just talking with our mortgage broker about that the other day, and she was saying Initially, in the next month or two, she sees it still staying pretty steady because I'm buying a house, so we had a lot of questions about that. But she's not sure if it's going to do another dip like it did. In, what was that, June, I think it was.
Yeah.
It took a little dip. But she sees it staying steady for a few more months. But then after that, these mortgage brokers really seem to go, I don't know what's going to happen after that. But they really see it staying around that 3% for another month or two.
So a question for Kyle.
Yeah.
Because he's
so
deep
let's get
into
some background on Kyle. Kyle's come on
Yeah.
this network before.
Yeah.
He's an investor. He does a lot of mastermind type stuff on social media where he teaches you how to flip homes and be an investor himself. Went to Fluvanna, grew up with one of your daughters,
He is
right?
right. Yep.
Yeah.
I've known Kyle since he was young.
yay high.
Yay high.
Yeah, great
he's,
dude.
He's also a veteran too. So thank you.
Veteran,
Thank
yeah.
you for his service.
So what was your question for Kyle?
Yeah. So the question for Kyle is, and actually I'm working on a roundtable, Kyle, for this. Keep a track on it.
Yeah.
Bringing some mortgage folks in. I'm also working on a roundtable with appraisers, which I kind of wanted to get into in a little while. But those folks are so busy, I can't get them to sit still.
Yeah.
Sit still. How's inflation going to affect this rate, Kyle? What do you think?
That's a good question for you, Kyle. If you could give us your answer in the feed, I'll relay it on air. Stephanie Wells Rhodes is watching the show of the
Hey,
Interstate
Stephanie,
family.
yeah.
One of our fantastic clients, and frankly, just a friend of my family as well.
Good people.
She lived in Lake Monticello for 16 years. Her parents had a fantastic home on the lake itself,
I
where
know.
Stephanie, if memory serves correct, your family would get the boat out often on the lake. She says cable is actually better at Lake Monticello than Keswick. She lives close to where I live in Keswick. I lived at Lake Monticello for 16 years, and the cable is better at Lake Monticello than it is in
Yay.
Keswick right now. Stephanie, we love when you watch the program. So Mustache Dan Pettit of Real Estate 3 fame is watching the program, and Mustache Dan Pettit has a couple of questions for both you guys.
Okay.
This is from an agent. He says, I think 60 days on market is a good benchmark for buyers to think about offering a reasonable lower offering to get their house sold. Some buyers think something is wrong with the house or if it's overpriced if it stays on for too long. And then he says, can you talk to us more about the strategy of coming soon? It was a good one.
Coming soon is key in this market. It is super, super important to spread the word prior to getting on market because of the fact that you have people that are out of town. And just spreading the word, being able to get that word out there before activating so you can get that interest built up prior to actually hitting market and allowing people to get in. So yeah, coming soon is key. It's key as agents. I think a lot of agents actually don't tap into that opportunity to shout from the rooftops that they've got this listing coming and really market that property in advance, because I think that's probably some of the most important time is prior to actually being active on market.
So
Tell me if I'm wrong, because new agent over here, but it's 2 weeks. You can put it on
Up to
coming
2
soon.
weeks.
14 days, yeah.
So let's talk about the
Yeah.
rules on that, because it's pretty firm
very
on
strict,
what you can do on that.
Yeah.
So the folks that are listening that may know that. So if we're going to put on Jerry's home on that, we have to have everything put together. The moment that we do any public marketing, that's a sign in the front, Facebook, whatever, we have 14 days from that point.
Right.
In order for it to become active. And the intent, as Maggie has said on that,
Drive awareness.
it's awareness, is to get it
Yeah.
out to the real estate agents so they know what's coming online. Let me ask you a question from one agent to another. When you do that, do you guys get phone calls from other agents? Tell me about the house. Great.
Mostly
Oh,
from
yes.
agents.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you're
Mostly.
supposed to, because it's
Yeah.
not out in it's not in Zillow or anything like
Well,
that.
it can be on your Facebook.
Correct.
We get a ton of traffic from the community on Facebook. And
Wait till you see what happens after this. Seriously, wait till you see your feeds after the show here, because I'm trying to answer the questions
This is
here.
fun.
This is like 30x your Facebook. What's
Sweet.
happening right now?
I love it.
Yeah, well, I love watching this show. But yeah, the definitely it's the agents reach out and the community does too. And for us, I do a lot of video tours actually before we go on market. And I think the video, actually walking through the home and showing to it as if the buyer's with me. which I think is probably the most important
It's
thing
huge.
that I do.
Yeah, it's huge.
Because we get people from California, from Northern Virginia, and because of COVID too, it helps people less traveling and getting together unnecessarily. But
Let's break that down for a second. So Jerry coined the term a digital curbside, right? So there's the
Digital
pre-market.
curb appeal.
Curb appeal.
Yeah.
So when you're like on Zillow or you're on the car website, Realtor app, and you're swiping through, I mean, some of these photos, whether they're authentic or doctored or not, I mean, some of them look
Yeah.
so much more beautiful than others. So you're
Right.
much more apt to slide through the entire slideshow and then start looking at the specs of the home.
Right.
Where some of them we've seen where it's like, dark photos, they're not super great, they don't show the house well. It's digital curb appeal.
But what I wanted to pick apart, because I think what I heard, if my hearing aids picked it up right, because I just recently have done that, you're showing people showings via FaceTime. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I'll do a full-blown, absolutely. I'll do
Yeah.
a full-blown video tour. So it's as if you were, and it's not,
That's
we
legit.
We
You
don't
do a
edit
what?
it. I'll do a 20-minute
Facebook
tour.
Live.
Facebook Live.
Like
Yeah.
Facebook
Exactly.
Live
Yeah.
and walk through and answer
Yeah, that's
questions and spread the word that way. And
That's smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been super effective. We've sold many houses off of it that way. And again, it helps people know, yes, I have to plan to get down there on Friday, on Tuesday. So it gives more buyers an opportunity to get in. And it spreads mostly awareness, as Keith said, to agents. So it's super, super important to be doing video.
I can say that's a key factor in a lot of our success.
Absolutely.
Truly.
Absolutely.
It's getting on Facebook Live.
Can I paint a picture here? And I want you to play devil's advocate. I'm going to be the bull, you guys be the bear for the
Okay.
sake of a talk show.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, I'm going to be pro Lake Monticello. This is strictly for the sake of a talk show because we all know that you guys love the lake.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you have, this is why I see this trend continuing well into next year. You have still affordable price points. I know we're talking
Correct.
high 2s and 3s, but when you compare it to Central Virginia, this is in a price point that you can even put into like the first-time home buyer category.
Oh,
Absolutely.
most definitely.
Okay.
90%
This
of
is
who I
why
work with.
Kyle's
Or
asking about the interest rate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, that's
Or-
exactly why he's asking.
Oh, right. Retiree on a budget.
Right, retiree on a budget, okay?
Yeah.
You have, even if the interest rates go up, we're still gonna have, for our lives, his life, generationally low interest rate, even if it starts creeping into the 3s, even early 4s. His
Definitely.
first home, 18% and change? 18% and change
For a
interest rate
$150,000 buy.
on his first home.
To 1987.
Okay.
88,
The
sorry.
city of Charlottesville is talking about changing its zoning, where it's gonna upzone the city and allow duplexes, triplexes, and quadplexes on R1 single-family detached. That's gonna drive buyers, or excuse me, sellers in the city to find neighborhoods where they can still have a backyard, some room to operate, and some peace of
Right.
mind. We know there's that mindset out there.
Absolutely.
Okay? The city is spreading that way toward Richmond, toward Fluvanna. El Mariachi, the owner of El Mariachi, Johnny Ornalis, is watching the show literally as we speak.
Yeah.
Rhett of Rhett's is literally watching the show
Yeah.
as we speak. Zion's Crossroads is blowing the hell up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think you guys are going to be gangbusters well into 2023. Tell me why I'm wrong.
You're
Do I
not.
agree?
Do you mean like the? Do you mean?
Be the bear. I was a bull there. Be the bear.
Like the negative? Like the?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, the lake gets such a bad rap. I mean, that's an easy. That's such a true and real thing, at least amongst the real estate community.
What's the rap? The Yankees?
Well, no, the rap isn't the Yankees from Charlottesville. The Yankee issue is a Fluvanna County issue outside of the lake.
Let me jump in for a second here and try to help you out with
Mike
this.
Duchensky's giving you guys some props here, and he's got some comments. we got a mortgage officer who wants some questions on rates.
Oh,
Thank
Mike.
you, thank
Mikey
you,
B.
Michael, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this, and I'm going to ask you a question here in a second, Michael.
He loves seeing your Facebook lives. He says you're an absolute rock star, and he's got
Yeah.
more
Thank
comments.
you.
223 units sold year to date.
What was that?
223 units closed
crazy.
year to date, 2021. But here's the deal, Maggie. Not all of them were car agents.
Oh, yeah, huge,
Right, so that's
right.
what you're trying to see right now. You're
Right.
starting to see right now. We have Northern Virginia coming down here. We've
Richmond,
Richmond, the other
Fredericksburg.
side of the mountain.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
because an affordability price point. That's why.
California.
Well, agents are agents have been, I mean, we even get clients who recently asked us to go to Richmond or Massanutten.
Yeah, we did Massanutten.
But yeah, we've definitely had the creep from outside agents come in for sure.
I'm going to ask a question to Mike real quick here. Hey, Mike, do me a favor. Run a 30-year AM on $238,000 at 6% and put that in the feed. I'm going to jump in on that here in a minute.
He says the USDA loan works great for the lake, 100%
Yes.
first-time home buyers.
It's awesome.
You guys should think USDA loan. He's not saying it to you guys. He's saying it to the viewers and listeners here.
Great
But the
thought.
lake is a
It's
good
great
fit for
thought.
Well,
us.
that's an
half of my buyers have been first-time home buyers, USDA, in this market, still doing well with them, making it happen.
Because it's in Fluvanna County.
Yeah.
Right.
So you think of a subdivision that has 15,000 people in it, you don't think it's so much rural because it isn't.
Yeah.
But because it's in a rural county, you have qualified. That's 100% financing, is that not correct?
Yeah.
It's
Worked
a
really
great
well
point.
for these people.
So the reason I'm asking Mike to take a look at that is when in 2008, the median sales price was $238,000, and I ran all the interest rate since 1971. In 2008, it was 6.3%. I'd love to find out what the P&I for that is versus what you can buy a house for.
Well, I
today.
mean, you
Great
can
question.
you can buy a home at the lake, and your monthly nut is going to be lower than rental options in the city of Charlottesville.
That's
Oh,
exactly
hands
right.
down. I just
My-
helped 2 clients last week get a house for the same exact reason.
My rental at the Villas at Southern Ridge, which is the lowest priced rental in the Mountain View School District in Albemarle County, I'm getting nearly $1,600 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and a den. Where you just ran the numbers and said you can get what, 2.25, 240, and your nut was 13 and change?
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
you're talking about saving hundreds of dollars buying
Yeah.
at the lake. The problem you guys have going against you, this is what I would have said if you were the bear, if I was the bear in your chair. There is not enough inventory to keep up with the demand at the lake.
Well, yeah, absolutely. There's that, and then you're gonna also come up with the same problem,
You
which
got more lots to build either, do you?
not
minimal.
that many. We have a couple hundred.
And those have been cherry picked through.
Oh yeah.
Those aren't the
yeah.
choice lots
No,
from,
not the choice. Well,
what's
there's
the word?
There,
From the 1800s when I was there?
No. What's the word? Is it terrain, topography?
yeah, it's the
Topographical.
topography.
Yeah.
So it's,
They're too steep.
There's still so many great lots, but a lot of people still hold on to their
there are
lots and
some
not letting
great
them go.
lots, for sure.
Well, why
Yeah.
do they do that? That's a great question to answer. Why do they people hold on to their lots for?
You wonder because they call
Yeah.
me and they say, I've been paying my HOA and my lot
For the
price
last-
hasn't gone up in a decade. My lot value, because lots really are just now increasing in value. I mean, when I started real estate back in 2007, lot prices could go for $80,000, $90,000 for just an average lot, and on Northwood or something, even on a busy street. And now, they're $20,000, $30,000 for a lot.
And that's ridiculously cheap.
It is dirt cheap, and they were.
Yeah.
We bought lots a few years ago for $10,000.
Yeah.
Great lots, by the way. And so it's like you just, and then I think we were some of the only people to have bought a lot that year. I mean, there were barely anybody that was even buying $10,000
I noticed that when I
lots.
looked at the numbers, you're starting to see some lots on the market, back on the market.
But if you,
Yes.
why would you get in the business of buying dirt right now when you know supply chains are pinched with new construction and the cost of goods is through the roof? We represent a builder. You know who
Sure,
the builder is.
sure.
This guy's on the custom side, 9+, and the supply chain for what he's doing is months out.
So-
And wood is finally starting. The lumber is finally starting to stabilize. Why would you do new construction?
So the question I asked is, why would you buy a lot
and hold it.
Yeah.
and hold it? And the reason you would buy that, and people used to buy them. When I first came in '87, you can buy them for $1,000 or $2,000. Guess what you get? You get a membership,
Right.
right? And a lot of people own lots so they can go in and take their boat and go fishing.
Right.
I mean, those people.
Do you have to live in the neighborhood to be a member?
No, you just have to own a lot.
You do need to own real estate to be able to be a part
Okay.
of the community.
There
yes.
you go. So
But when you say live, you don't have to have a house on it and
Right.
occupy it.
You just-
You can go in there and buy a lot for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. But back in the day, they were extremely cheap.
Because that's unique to the lake.
Right.
At Glenmore, you don't have to live in
Very unique.
Glenmore to be a member. Neither Spring Creek, Farmington, or Keswick
You got to
Estate.
physically
Right.
own
So
and
that's
occupy.
unique. That's
You
unique.
can get you can get other memberships, like if you don't live inside the lake, you can get memberships to be part of the pool, for instance, or the swim team, but you can't put boats in the water.
Right. We learned that.
Right.
There was multiple houses.
I just learned something.
Yeah.
We were thinking about putting under contract still in Fluvanna, but they weren't part of the lake, and we could have sign the line, and we decided not to because we can't put our boat in the water. That's why we live there. We love it.
That's why when lots were thousands and thousands low price, you'd build a house outside the lake. You go buy a lot for a couple of grand. Guess what? I get a stick. I get a barcode. I go in. I put my boat in. I go to the golf course. I go everything. And that was because when the bylaws and the coverage restrictions were written in 1968, they never projected this.
So we got a ton of feedback coming in, ladies. You guys are very well loved at this meeting. Christelle is watching.
Yay!
Who is it?
Christelle.
She's the director
I love
of
her.
Encino.
Yes,
She's come on this network.
a gem.
She's amazing.
She's
You
a
are
gem.
amazing. She says, Maggie and Christy, two amazingly strong, smart, confident, and empowering businesswomen and mothers. Keep living your best lives and empowering those around you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Michael Buczynski gave the extrapolation on what Keith asked, so here are the numbers.
Okay.
He says $250,000 at 6% P&I is $1,498.88. Basically called $1,500. To that, add property taxes and homeowners insurance. Total interest for the life of the loan is $289K, basically $290K. At current rates of say 2.875%, it would be $1,000 and change.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
So put that in
crazy.
perspective right there.
So
I mean, like you're talking about a $500 savings, basically.
Well,
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
So the point is what I would ask Mike to rerun, what would be a $300,000 house at today's interest rates? And that's the point that I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Is
You have purchasing power.
you have purchasing power now. So
$1,400
people are looking
for
at these
$300.
numbers out here.
Yeah.
But I think the point that might have been Kyle was making, once these interest rates, and I can't believe I'm even saying this, gets up to like 4,
Right.
it's going to impact.
change.
It's going to impact people's buying powers, which is going to increase inventory, which will help us get to some equilibrium at this particular point on that end of it.
This question's coming from DP. He says, what about the homes across from the main entrance at Lake Monticello? Do you think like Village Oaks will be part of the HOA at Lake Monticello?
No.
And he also wants to know how many possible customers, clients put in an offer after seeing your Facebook Lives or the coming soon.
Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely. We do get that. We get people that are for the coming soon's Facebook Lives is one of the most important things, as I said, that we do. A couple. I would say I can correlate at least a couple of sales a year. We usually sell between 50 to 60 houses a year, so a couple.
I think we're blowing that out of the water this year.
Yeah, this year for sure.
So
And then there are homes across from the lake.
Village Oaks. They're part of their own
River
HOA.
Oaks, too.
And they have their own amenities over there. And they've only got, I was just over there on Saturday, helped a client over there, but they've only got
They're almost built out.
5 houses left, I think is what it was Saturday afternoon, and they were still flooded in. But only 5 houses left, 5 spots left.
I didn't crunch numbers out there, but we did on a previous show on what the price change has been at that end of it. And actually the show we were talking about was the impact of new construction on local governments, and the balance point on the tax end of it is about $260,000. So what that means is if you buy a home that's tax assessed at $260,000 and above, you're actually contributing to the county budget. If you have a home that's less than that, you're kind of not contributing to it on that end.
Really cool.
Well, it's one of the things that some local jurisdictions or local governments or the NIMBY folks would say that new construction is a drain on the local dollars, and it's statistically not true. There's a balance point on what that has to be. It's roughly $260,000, and those houses were way north of 280, 84, 85 if I remember.
Well, now
correctly.
the townhomes are around there. Now they're single level ranchers are starting in the 320s.
Got it.
Whoa.
So anything above 260.
Not okay.
Yep, the townhomes, 320s without a basement. Yeah.
Here's an interesting question that's come in. First, let's Mandy Strickland says, I love Maggie and Christy, best agents ever. Abby Bellamy giving you props.
Aw, Abby.
Chase Lounsbury,
Hey,
Sean
Chase.
Fountain.
Hi.
Is it Mike Fiesel?
Mike Fiesel's awesome, amazing client and family client.
He says, great job. You have 7 firms in Central Virginia watching you guys on this show right here. Here's an interesting question from a realtor. Jerry, please don't use my name. but please ask the roundtable Spring Creek versus Lake Monticello. Pros and cons.
So I think it's just a different vibe for, partly a different vibe, different price point. I like Zion Crossroads, but...
So that's Louisa. The lake's in Fluvanna.
Yeah.
So one difference there.
And the lake is... we've got all the trees, and we've got the nature, and we've got the deer and the lake. Personally, I like Spring Creek, but for me, absolutely, it's the lake all day. Because of our community that we have there too. One thing I actually wanted to say for people that don't know the lake, one of the biggest benefits to living at the lake is that we really get two communities. We get the lake, so we have our amazing community, but then we also get Charlottesville. So you get two amazing places that are very different from each other, and it's kind of the best of both worlds.
So as you know, I live at the lake, been there since '87. How long did it take you guys to get from your house to here?
20 minutes.
Yeah.
It really, we live near Monteshgate, so I'm like the absolute closest point. I've done it in 18 minutes.
Yeah. That's legit.
Yeah.
18 minutes is not bad.
It's pretty legit.
I can get here in 18 minutes.
Yeah.
But it is
pretty much no traffic too. Right?
And not only no traffic, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I get to drive past Monticello, the vineyards, the bridge. I get to see
Mountain.
and
all of it.
Drive past.
So can I play the bear on the Lake Monticello?
Oh yeah, that's
Please.
On that end of it.
We need that for a talk show.
We need
I can play that
so the opposite thing on that. So I've been promoting and high on, and this is where the future is Zion's Crossroads. Lake Monticello, from a growth perspective, is done. Right. It, for all intents and purposes, it's done. There'll be some projects that come up around Lake Monticello. I happen to be helping one that's going to bring around 325 more units on it. But there's no more growth there left on that end of it. Zion's Crossroads, on the other hand, is primed for growth. It has everything that it needs to grow and to expand.
Spring Creek has a ton of lots.
Spring Creek has another 600 lots to give.
Right.
There's the major difference between Lake Monticello and Spring Creek, and I'm putting my developer hat on here for the moment.
Is the proximity to the interstate.
The developer still controls what's happening over at Spring Creek. Lake Monticello, that happened decades ago on that end of it. So the developer can control what kind of product's going in, control the covenants and restrictions, control the growth, adding property in, taking property out. Lake Monticello cannot do that. It is what it is at this particular point. So that's the reason why that area will grow, and I know for a fact there's additional projects that are going to be connected to that over time that's going to grow that area.
Spring
Creek,
right.
Yeah.
So it's just a different animal, right? It's set up differently. 1969 versus what? Spring Creek's 15 years old?
Right.
Something like that. So it's just very different all around.
Different houses too. Affordability is different in the neighborhoods.
Oh my God.
I would even say, the lot sizes are smaller in Spring Creek. For the most part, the lake, we have a lot of half-acre lots and larger than half-acre lots. Yes, we do have quarter to third acre, but that would be like a larger lot size, I would think, at Spring Creek for the most part. But the lake also, compared to Spring Creek, we have the lake. When it was built, it was never intended to be an environmentally friendly community, but it actually kind of was. They didn't want you to pave your driveways. They wanted the water to be able to permeate into the ground.
Cutting edge in 1960.
Right, and they didn't want you to cut the trees down, and it's really a natural community in it. So there's really no other place, I don't think, in Virginia that's quite like it. Maybe Lake of the Woods, but they get Fredericksburg and we get Charlottesville.
So Christy, Lake Monticello was originally set up as a vacation community for Northern Virginia. Then it went over the course of time, became a place for a bunch of Yankees to retire, right? Henceforth my accent. And then it became a bedroom community for Lake Monticello. Right. Where do you see the next, in your opinion, only been in it for a few years, is we're going to stay the way we are, or do you see this going through another generational change or some sort of regeneration?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's actually interesting that you say that because, like I just said, we just bought a house we've been here for 3 years, and we looked into Zion Crossroads. We looked into Charlottesville. We thought about all different options, and what kept us there, and it's the community. It's what we see. We see projected every day. You get both. You get the young family, you get the retiree, but they want to be together. And so, and we're seeing now with this big change is a lot of people are coming in, and the community's over 50 years old, and so you're seeing people come in and they're updating the houses, and so you're seeing this just little refresh happen, and it felt like a place that we couldn't leave. Our heart was just, you have to. I love people, and you just feel this tug and this pull of this community, and I don't see it going anywhere. It's been great for people who work in Charlottesville, work in Richmond. We get all these different people of all different walks of life, and we all come together in the community, and it makes it so unique and so fun. And we've visited so many other communities, and we just didn't get that same feel. On top of being able to put our boat in the water and go fishing every day.
That's what blows my mind. Is
every single day.
People just miss that. But I've been there since '87. I'm super blessed.
Yeah.
I live there. My mother and father lives there.
Amazing.
Both my brothers and sisters live there. Within 5 miles of it. We're close enough that we're close, and we're further enough that thank you, you're over there.
Yeah.
But we have our Sunday dinners. We so forth and so on that stuff of it. So you can grow this community. I love this term you guys are using, community, because that's what it is. It's a community.
Yeah.
Michael's got the numbers for you, Keith.
What do you say?
300K at 2.875% would be about $1,205 a month.
Well, I didn't write that other number
But
down.
quantitative easing likely will not slow down until 2022, if at
with
all, with inflation. How can they raise rates without killing the housing market? I think it will be a slow burn. That's Mike Buchensky, First Heritage.
So basically, if I wrote the number down right, it's awfully close to the same price point. Yeah, that's what I was
Very
thinking.
close.
What I was thinking, you could almost buy a $300,000 house from, and the median list price right now is $280 something.
This question has come in. Is the pool still closed at Village Oaks? I have renters living there, and they want to know why the pool is still closed.
It is. I got a little backside of why it's still closed. They're having some getting their occupancy. There's something with the card to go in, the security thing. They can't get it to work right, and it's still closed. Yeah. They haven't been happy.
Well, if they lived at the lake, they'd have a beautiful pool.
That's right.
They'd have a beautiful pool.
The pool's nice.
Our pool is very nice.
It is a top quality pool, the one that they did at the lake. They did it right.
So it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, I've been there since '87. Yeah. I've probably been at the pool twice.
Really?
Yeah, because I'll just go to we have 5 beaches.
I know.
I'll just go to the beach and go for a swim.
This was our life.
People don't understand it. We have 5 sand beaches.
Right. Well,
and they're gorgeous.
Our life this summer, for the most part, was swim team, swim team, head down to the beach afterwards, volleyball with all of our friends, and the kids running around and climbing the rocks, and then pool. I mean, we do the pool, the lake, then
the pool
and then hop on the boat.
And then we hop on the boat.
Yeah, and then the guys will play golf. And
I hope you have a cocktail somewhere in between there.
I'm not a big drinker, but everybody else likes to drink.
Very cool.
we bring the wine, but we don't drink as much as some.
We kind of do a little on the
DL.
I'm the only one. I'm boring.
So this is
Not
from
at all.
Michelle. This is from Michelle. Guys, I've watched the show from start to finish. I was even there at 10:15 for the start time. What happened?
It's my fault.
Thank you, Michelle.
I'm so sorry, Michelle.
She's watching. It's 11:24 and she's still watching.
I'm so sorry.
She goes, I've enjoyed the show. I like the dynamic the ladies are offering to the round table. Can you ask them what other neighborhoods they're hot on? Or as Jerry says, where else are you bullish in Central Virginia? That's from Michelle.
Oh, great question. Stanton, Lynchburg.
Yeah.
Oh, Lynchburg. I would be investing in Lynchburg all day right now.
Tell us why.
Liberty University is loaded.
Yeah. They're expanding.
That's why. They have so much money.
Yeah.
So that's where I would go follow the money and invest in Lynchburg and those students that are so loyal to that university. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Lynchburg is a hot, hot place.
But
okay.
He wants to keep it in the Central Virginia.
No. I get the Lynchburg
It's on the
thing.
cusp. It's on the cusp.
But here's the thing. You're not going to work in You're not going to live in Lynchburg and work in Charlottesville.
No. Okay. So Charlottesville.
He's talking
of
investing.
course.
I get the investing end of it,
Right.
but I want to turn the question around a little bit and say, where is the person who's working at Albemarle School System?
Right.
Or, well, I think the answer is Lake Monticello
It is.
because we kind of proved the numbers for you.
For
And
sure.
thank you, Michael, for doing that. You're a rock star. that, for almost the same amount of money as renting, you can own something in Lake Monticello.
Most definitely.
Waynesboro definitely.
Yeah.
And
on that end of it.
statistically, even though right now it is kind of it is a hard market to buy into because there are so many, it feels almost so insecure. But at the same time, if you own your property long term, you'll be fine. The first house we bought was at the end of 2007, the absolute worst time to invest in a property, and we held on to it. We talked about selling it over the years. We've held on to it, and it has equity now. So, long-term game in real estate is
well,
what
with
you
those
need to
interest
do.
rates.
Yeah.
With those interest rates, you can still buy a house and still we need rentals there are no rentals at the lake right now.
Well,
even the rent
And so you could even buy in that 230, 240 range where we're seeing some of these ranchers and still rent it out and make more than make a good profit and go from there.
Well,
you know what I mean? With rentals.
Mr. and Mrs.
Why
Smith
not?
are now back we just are in the process of buying our first investment rental
great.
property, which I have not done since the great, what is
The great time of unpleasantness.
time of unpleasant.
Neil's watching.
funny.
Which I would refer to the Great Real Estate Depression
Yeah.
Yeah.
on that end of it.
Absolutely.
So it's a great time to do that because
Yeah.
the numbers are working.
Right.
It's pretty hard. You can afford to buy an investment property if that's what you choose to do
Right.
at these interest rates in order to go ahead and still be able to provide a reasonable rent
Exactly.
to folks and a return on your investment.
And why wait if you're going to hold on to it for a long term with the interest rates?
That's a great question, Christy. So we get this all the time. We're now having buyer fatigue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, this is a real thing, right? People are putting multiple offers in, not getting them. So you're a brand
Cliff
new
jumping.
cliff jumping.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are pros. You're not going to let somebody go ahead and buy something without having a sit down about home inspections and appraisal. So I know that will never
and understand the cliff dive
cliff
that you
they're
are.
about-
If you're going to
and-
take a cliff dive,
Yeah.
know the cliff dive
and
you're
you
taking.
better sign
Right.
this
Well-
piece of paper that says I
Right.
explained it to you.
Grayson
Right.
just said this. We've put 3 offers in 3 different homes. Each time we lost to cash.
Yeah.
Gotta
I
call
know what
Christy.
cliff
She still
jumping-
wins.
Oh, I'm
gets
killing
them.
the cash offers.
No, don't call. You don't call Christy. Somebody else call Christy who doesn't have a realtor.
We will say this. We're empathetic to Grayson's family's plight. How about that?
Yeah,
Right? We're empathetic to
absolutely.
But what do we say what do you say to Grayson? How do you have that conversation to keep Grayson in the game?
Yeah, I like I said, I love people, so it becomes more of a personal thing to me. I always like to put myself in their shoes because it is frustrating. And I'm not saying that I haven't had people that didn't lose the first, the second, and the third offer, but we really go with the mentality of what will is supposed to be done, and this sense of like that just wasn't meant to be. And it always seems that when we do get that land that one, they're like, oh man, I'm so glad I didn't get those first 3 because
Right.
there's always something right around the corner. And it doesn't feel like it because there's such little inventory, but it's worked out every single time.
So Yona and I do about 60 transactions a year, kind of
Yeah.
historically on that kind of stuff. And what I have been telling buyers now that have lost the second or third, what I'd be telling
Yeah.
Grayson, if we were having this conversation 2 months ago,
Yeah.
you'd be at 10 or 11 or 12
Right.
Yeah.
before you get one. The numbers are coming down.
You're saying 2 to 3 is a balanced market that he's only lost on 2
I
to 3 so far?
I don't think I've said
All cash. All
I'm
cash.
saying that. What I'm
Is that what
saying,
you're alluding
what
to?
I'm saying is that your chances of getting the next one are greater.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
Number 4 and number 5.
Because we got those cash offers out of the way.
Two months ago, and the
Yeah.
inventory's coming up. We're at 29.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at Lake Monticello, 2-3 months ago, that was in single digits,
Right.
right?
Oh yeah, 5
So-
houses, 7 houses.
So inventory is
Yeah.
climbing, right? You know, we call it the slot machine effect, right?
Right.
And eventually you will be the 5th or the 6th one to do it, but you got to hang in there,
Yeah.
and you got to stay in the game.
Keep moving.
Because the only way you're going to build this equity up is to be in the game.
Kyle
right.
Miller agrees with Maggie. I love Stanton, Lynchburg, and Waynesboro
Yeah.
Yep.
for investment properties.
Great.
Daniel, Mustache Dan Pennant, it is probably a good investment to purchase in a town that has a university anywhere.
Absolutely.
And that's riding the coattails of your Liberty
Lynchburg.
comment right there.
Yep.
Good show. We're at the
Yay.
11:30 mark.
Fun.
We have more we can get to here.
We can do it.
You're getting a lot of props for being empowered ladies
Oh,
and
great.
being
Thank
great neighborhood
great.
pillars of Lake Monticello.
Good.
How about Maggie? How about a final word here for all the people watching?
I would say that even if you're not, we talked a lot about the lake for affordability. Even if you're not looking for affordability, if you just want a good quality of life, or in community, that is where you can find it. And you can be as involved as you want to be, or not involved at all. But we choose to be involved.
So on the involved thing, I was actually thinking about you, Jerry, on Saturday, because I did my long ride around the lake twice, and I went past three set of tennis. We have 3 tennis courts, right? 3 different locations within the subdivision. It was 8:30 on a Saturday, between 8:30 and 9:30.
People were playing.
Freaking packed.
It's not. It's pickleball is huge. I know it's like a moving. My mother is a major tennis player, so there's she's like, get the pickleball out. She wants tennis.
Well, this gentleman to my left is a bit of a pickleball rock star.
I play them all. I play all the rackets.
You probably played with her then. You probably actually have, because she's always making her rounds around Charlottesville.
I do the same.
We live behind the tennis courts, and I'll hear them in the morning at 6:30, 6:45. They're out there.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and we walk at nighttime. We get to go for actually one thing we hadn't talked about. One of the great things about the lake is walking.
Yeah.
It is a phenomenal place to go. Just take a nice break and go for a walk. Birds are chirping. There's deer. It's beautiful. There's trees. It's natural.
There's so many amenities I feel like we didn't even touch on, and clubs and groups that get together. It's sky's the limit.
Like Christelle, truly, she's a part of our community. We do swim team with her and her family, and just this summer, like the summer was a tough summer, and we all kind of, for people come together when you need each other. We have that at the lake. We have those people that are really there for you. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Community is huge.
Huge.
Walking is huge.
Yes.
As these ladies know, I developed the Acres back in '97, and I lived there. And every time I go on my bike ride or a walk in the morning, there's literally 24 people that walk every morning.
It's amazing.
Up. Yep. There's a 2-mile loop of the roads that we built on that stuff. So, thank you for doing this, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
When I was thinking rock stars at Lake Monticello, other than Keith and Yona, no, I'm only kidding. I was only kidding. This is all about.
We share it all.
This is all about raising everybody
so
up. You guys are rock stars, and thank you for doing this. We got a little bit of a late start, but thank you for doing it anyway.
We were sitting at the wrong place. 10 minutes early at the wrong place.
You guys are great. I just tease you.
No, you should tease us forever. We deserve it. I deserve it.
Maggie, do me a favor, personal favor. Say hi to Mom and Dad for me, please.
Absolutely.
Tell them I give them the best. And
thank you so much for having us.
I miss working deals with them. It was always.
Oh, they're amazing.
I always loved working deals with your mom and dad, and I miss them tremendously in the field.
She's playing tennis and volunteering and raising money and just being Betsy, making moves and moving mountains.
Living a life.
She is.
Christy,
she is a woman.
I'm going to keep my eye on you, because you're a rising star.
I'm excited.
Rock star. That's why rock star. Big time. She sold 30 houses this year. 20, 25.
I'm up to 30 now.
That's incredible for.
You sold 30 houses this year?
Yes, sir.
And you got in the game in December?
Yes, sir.
That's
not bad.
That's huge for. That's huge for.
Excuse me, I'm going to make a note of that.
Yeah. How many were in the lake?
I would say 80% of that was in the lake. Yeah.
Very nice. So 24 in the lake.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
That just took words out of both our mouths.
I think we're done. Show's over.
These ladies are awesome.
Yeah,
the show will be archived all over social media for those that are asking. A lot of folks at the lake are asking about where the show will be archived. We'll archive it on our website, I Love CVille. It's on Yes Realty Partners. It's all over the network. Watch it from start to finish, because I think it was crammed with information on Lake Monticello and Fluvanna. The future is bright for this community.
Yay!
Yeah.
It is so bright.
Absolutely.
The Monday Market Monitor, presented by Closure Title since 2007. They have 2 offices, guys, one in Charlottesville and one in Stanton. They have experience in lending, title insurance, settlement services, and working with realtors and agents. Closure Title and Settlement Company.
So what do you got going on at 12:30?
We got Bellamy Brown.
Ooh.
Bellamy Brown, the chairman of the Police Civilian Review Board, issued a fairly dynamic statement to close the show or close his meeting on Friday about leadership in the police department. So
That was a bit unprecedented.
we will follow up with the chairman of the Police Civilian Review Board and his holding accountable the police chief here in the city of
So
Charlottesville.
those who are watching, chime back in at 12:30 to watch
Yeah,
Jerry's noon
it's
show.
going to be a good show.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, guys, on a Monday. We'll see you in about 55 minutes. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, ladies.
Yay, thanks
done.
for having us.
Fun.
Well done.
Nice.
Yeah, thank
Super
you guys.
fun. I'm so sorry.
No.